Hello dear students, this is your teacher McEnroe, and I hope that you all are fine there at home. Today I am going to continue with the next episode of what I have left you in my last class, okay? I think you will be able to know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the lesson which I have taught you in my last class, and the name of the lesson was The Bond of Love, okay? Let me just do the recap. So, what was it all about? It was about the bear, the baby bear, and the name of that baby bear is Bruno, right? The narrator's wife got a pet sloth bear as a pet due to an accident. 2 years before the time when the story was written, the narrator and his friends were passing through sugarcane fields near Mysore. Okay, this is all that had happened. There were farmers who were driving away those wild animals because they were ruining the fields, the sugarcane fields, like the wild boar, pigs, and all. Okay, and while chasing them away or while driving them away, uh, that incident happened when a baby bear was actually prostrated on the back of its mother. Okay, and here the narrator didn't want to shoot it. He didn't have that kind of intention because he knows animals, right? Even we know animals also. We shouldn't be harming them whenever you're not getting hurt by them. Okay, so this happened, I mean, all of a sudden when this bear, a huge bear, appeared from the bushes. One of his friends, I mean the narrator's friend, he just shot at it. He shot at that bear, and then instantly that bear died. Okay, and at that time when they shot it, obviously the friend of the narrator, they didn't think of anything else. They just thought that it was just only the bear which was shot death. But to their surprise, they see something crawling and moving at the back of the bear, the mother bear. And what was it? It was a baby bear, okay, the sloth. And I think I've told you the meaning of sloth bear, right? Sloth is actually nocturnal bear. You know what is nocturnal? I think I told you in my last class. The meaning of nocturnal is actually those creatures which are active at night. They are called nocturnal animals. Okay, so this sloth bear was found to be at the back of this mother bear when it was killed. All right, and they just brought it. They brought home. They brought the baby bear to the house of the narrator, and he gave it to his wife, saying that I have brought one gift for you. And then when the wife of the narrator saw that the narrator has brought her a baby bear, she was really happy. Okay, and she herself named that baby bear as Bruno. Okay, and the bond between them, obviously the baby bear and the wife of the narrator, was really, you know, it was fantastic. I don't have any words for that, by the way, because the kind of bond between them was amazing. Okay, so this was a story where I have left you in my last class. I'm going to continue with the next episode of this lesson. Okay, so here we go. Before that, what I want you to do is just bring your book and have it placed right in front of you, so that I will provide you the explanation after I read out the paragraph. Okay, as usual. Fine. So Bruno soon took to drinking milk from a bottle. It was but a step further, and within a very few days he started eating and drinking everything else. And everything is the right word, for he ate porridge made from any ingredients, vegetables, fruit, nuts, meat, especially pork, curry and rice regardless of condiments, spices, and chilies, bread, eggs, chocolates, sweet, pudding, ice cream, etc., etc., etc. As for drink, milk, tea, coffee, lime juice, aerated water, buttermilk, beer, alcoholic liquor, and in fact everything liquid, it all went down with release. Oops. I mean, they were raising this bear, and this bear was eating many things whatever was provided to it, be it condiments. Condiments means, I mean, some spicy food. The bear would enjoy eating them, okay, and be it milk or lime juice, coffee, or even beer also, alcoholic liquor, then the bear would be happily drinking them or eating them. Okay, this was what was happening with this bear. Okay, the bear drank milk from a bottle. After a few days, it started drinking and eating many things, everything and anything. The bear enjoyed eating and drinking. Okay, this is where I left you in my last class. All right, so I'm going to continue right now. What I want you to do is, again, just have a look at your book, and this is the paragraph that I'm going to read out, followed by the explanation that I will provide to you. Fine. The bear became very attached to our two Alsatian dogs and to all the children of the tenants living in our bungalow. He was left quite free in his younger days and spent his time playing, running into the kitchen, going to sleep in our beds. Okay, now the explanation. It became friendly with the narrator's Alsatian dogs also with the tenant children who lived in the narrator's bungalow. As the bear was left free, it played, ran around the house, and even slept in the narrator's bed. Now it was completely enjoying himself. Okay, Bruno was like a baby kid right now in their house, moving around, eating anything, whatever was provided to it. Okay, it would eat it happily. Okay, now the next paragraph. One day an accident befell him. I put down poison, in bracket, barium carbonate, to kill the rats and mice that had got into my library. Bruno entered the library as he often did, and he ate some of the poison. Paralysis set in to the extent that he could not stand on his feet, but he dragged himself on his stumps to my wife, who called me. I guessed what had happened. Off I rushed in the car to the vet's residence. A case of poisoning, tame bear, barium carbonate, what to do? Okay, I guess that you have understood from that paragraph that I have read. Fine, but I'll provide you the explanation. Here it is. Accidentally, Bruno drank the poison kept in the library to kill rats. He was paralyzed and could not stand on his feet. As it reached the narrator's wife, she called him and he realized what had happened. He took Bruno to a veterinary doctor. Okay? See, this what happened with Bruno, as there was some poison kept. The name of the poison is something like barium carbonate or something. And it was kept in the library by the narrator just to kill those rats which were ruining everything inside the library. Okay? So once this happened, it was an accident, and this guy, who I'm talking about, Bruno. Who was Bruno? The baby bear was eating anything or everything. So he thought that those poison which are kept there in the library just to kill the rats, he thought that it could be eatable items. So the bear, that is Bruno, ate those poison, and it led to something which was making the bear, Bruno, uncomfortable. And what was that? It became paralyzed. Okay, it was not movable. It was not able to move its feet or everything. Okay, let's proceed. Out came his medical books, and a feverish reference to index began. What poison did you say, sir? Barium carbonate. Yes, barium salts. Barium carbonate. Symptoms, paralysis, treatment, injections of. Just a minute, sir. I'll bring my syringe and the medicine. A dash back to the car. Bruno still floundering about and stumps, but clearly weakening rapidly. Some vomiting, heavy breathing with and mouth. Okay. Now let me just tell you the meaning of those difficult words. It's already there on screen. Okay. The meaning of those difficult words are given in the bracket. Let's start with floundering. Spelling of that is Floundering. Floundering. And the meaning of that is struggling to move. As I told you earlier, when the baby bear was paralyzed, it was not able to move itself. Okay. So that's what happened. It floundered himself. Floundering, struggling to move. All right. About on his stumps, but clearly weakening rapidly. Some vomiting, heavy breathing with heaving. Heaving, here the meaning of that is taking deep breath. Flanks, the meaning of flanks is the side of the body between the ribs and hips. Okay. And gaping, gaping, wide open mouth. Okay. Now we will understand from the explanation that I am going to provide to you. The doctor took out his medical books and searched the index for poisoning by barium carbonate. See, now this was a difficult task and it was performed by a doctor there. Obviously, the doctor, the one who was called by the narrator and his wife just to check on Bruno, he was completely nervous actually, because it was quite obvious that he must have heard this kind of poison for the first time, that what could be the treatment that I should be giving to that poor Bruno, the baby bear. That's what he was thinking, right? He took out a syringe and the medicine. Bruno was struggling to move, vomiting, breathing heavily, and his mouth was open. Okay, here it is, how it happened. The doctor just took out his book and he was searching for the name of that poison, okay, barium carbonate, and what could be the treatment given to the creature or the person who has consumed it. Okay, so for that he was trying to figure out. But before he could do that, that poor animal, I mean Bruno, was suffering a lot, and it was vomiting and it was struggling to move, as it was not able to move, by the way. Just because of that it was struggling, and simultaneously also it was vomiting. Okay, and his mouth was open, wide open. All right. Okay, now we will understand it from the next paragraph, kids. I just want you to have a look at the next paragraph. Okay, hold him, everybody. In goes the hypothermic. That is the meaning of that in the bracket. A long needle used to give an injection under the skin, and the word is hypothermic. Okay, Bruno squeals, screams. 10 cc of the antidote, the meaning of that, a medicine taken or given to counteract a particular poison, enters his system without a drop being wasted. 10 minutes later, condition unchanged, another 10 cc injected. 10 minutes later, breathing less stertorous. Bruno can move his arms and legs a little, although he cannot stand yet. 30 minutes later, Bruno gets up and has a great feed. He looks at us disdainfully, as much as to say, what's barium carbonate to a big black bear like me? Bruno is still eating. Okay, now let me just take you to the same paragraph again, because it's important for you to understand the meaning of those words which are there in the paragraph. Okay, let's start from that word called hypodermic. Hypothermic. Okay, Hypodermic, hypothermic. Okay, the meaning of that is a long needle used to give an injection under the skin. Okay, and Squills. Here the meaning of squills is scream. Bruno was squilling, okay, screaming. Antidote. Antidote. And the meaning of that is a medicine taken or given to counteract a particular poison, to fight against the poison. That's called antidote. Okay, it's a kind of vaccine, you would say. I wouldn't be saying also vaccine. I mean, like, whenever something is consumed in the form of poison or something like that, you need to have something which could be really protecting it to be spreading all over your body, and this is what I'm talking about, antidote. Okay, the word is antidote, just to fight against the poison which is being consumed. All right, and the next word is statorus. Statorus. Okay, this is how you have to pronounce it, statorus, and the meaning of that is noisy. All right, and let's have a look at the next difficult word, disdainfully, which means disapprovingly. All right, now kids, get ready, because I'm going to provide you the explanation. The doctor asked everyone to hold Bruno. As it screamed, the medicine was injected. As the condition did not change, another injection was given. 10 minutes later, Bruno's breathing eased. It could stand after 30 minutes and ate food. It gave them such a look which showed that it had been fine all the time and as if nothing had happened to it. Okay, so the doctor asked everyone to hold the bear because it was screaming, and at the same time also it was struggling. Though it was not able to move, but it was struggling like anything just to, take a breath, because it was difficult for that poor bear to take a breath that time. As it started vomiting and uneasiness, everything that had started with the bear, it was really unbearable. Okay, so the doctor asked everyone there to catch hold of the bear so that it could be given the injection by the doctor. Okay, and when it did, when the doctor administered the injection to the bear, the condition was still the same. Okay, maybe because the bear was big, and just because of that 10 cc of injection was not sufficient for it to be, cured or something. So here another 10 cc was given to that bear, and at that time the poor animal was able to, breathe properly. The baby bear was getting eased up now. Okay, so let's proceed. Another time he found nearly, this is another paragraph. Another time he found nearly 1 gallon of old engine oil which I had drained from the sump. The meaning of the sump: the base of an internal combustion engine which served as a reservoir of oil for the lubrication system of the Studebaker, an old American car. Studebaker, okay, that is the name of an old American car, and was keeping as a weapon against the inroads of termites. He promptly drank the lot, but it had no ill effects whatever. Okay, now the explanation. In another incident, Bruno drank the used engine oil which the narrator had taken out of his Studebaker car and had kept to get rid of termites that did not affect Bruno. It was quite difficult to raise an animal like this. Seriously, Bruno was an innocent animal, and since it ate anything or everything, whatever was right in front of this animal, Bruno, it would eat it. Okay, it would drink it if it is in the form of liquid. So that's what it happened again. The first incident, the poor bear Bruno consumed some poison called barium carbonate, which it was having breathing difficulty, and just because of that it was given some injection like which was not sufficient for it to be given again, but it was fine after that. All right, and this incident happened again, something like this. And what was it? It drank the used engine oil, and that engine oil was taken from that car. The name of that car is given on the screen. Just have a look at that. Studebaker. Okay, this is how you have to pronounce it. And it's an old American car. Okay, so why did the narrator take out the engine oil from the car? Just to get rid of those termites. Okay, since it was not affecting Bruno, so it was just the same old bear, not having any kind of problem. Okay, now the next paragraph. The months rolled on and Bruno had grown many times the size he was when he came. He had equaled the Alsatians in height and had even outgrown them, but was just as sweet, just as mischievous, as playful. And he was very fond of us all. Above all, he loved my wife and she loved him too. She had changed his name from Bruno to Baba, a Hindustani word signifying small boy, and he could do a few tricks too. At the command Baba wrestle or Baba box, he vigorously tackled anyone who came forward for a rough and tumble. Give him a stick and say, Baba, hold gun, and he pointed the stick at you. Ask him, Baba, where's baby? And he immediately produced and cradled affectionately a stump of wood which he ate carefully, concealed, the meaning of that is the bracket hidden, in a straw bed. But because of the tenant's children, poor Bruno or Baba had to be kept chained most of the time. Now the explanation. As the days passed, Bruno grew bigger and outgrew the Alsatian dogs. Still, it was sweet, naughty, and playful like before. He was fond of everyone. The narrator's wife was very attached to Bruno, and vice versa. She changed his name to Baba, which means a small boy in Hindi language, that is Hindustani language. Baba did some tricks when he was ordered Baba wrestle or Baba box. He would wrestle the person and overpower him. Okay. The wife of the narrator changed the name of Bruno to Baba as it was becoming big and it had outgrown those animals. The dogs, first of all, the Alsatian dogs, they are too big, right? Baba had outgrown them also. Okay, and it was growing bigger and bigger in size, which was difficult for them to raise such kind of animal, And since it was growing bigger, it could be, dangerous, not to them, but the people who are there in the neighborhood, okay? So they had to do something for it. So let's see. When commanded Baba hold gun, this is the continuation of that explanation. When commanded Baba hold gun, he would point a stick at the person as if it ready to shoot him. When asked, Baba, where's a baby? He would take out a piece of wood and cradle it affectionately like a baby. He had hidden the piece of wood under the straw bed. As he had grown big, he was chained because he could be a threat to the tenant's children. Yes, that's what I told you, right? It was chained because it was growing bigger and it was kind of dangerous to all. So just because of that, they had to change it. Okay, let's continue. This is the next paragraph. Then my son and I advised my wife, and friends advised her too, to give Baba to the zoo at Mysore. He was getting too big to keep at home. After some weeks of such advice, she at last consented. Hastily, and before she could change her mind, a letter was written to the curator. Here the meaning of curator is a person in charge of the zoo. Did he want a tame bear for his collection? He replied, yes. The zoo sent a cage from Mysore in a lorry, a distance of 87 miles, and Baba was packed off. Okay. The narrator and his son advised to send Baba to the zoo when his wife was advised. So by the friends too, she agreed, and a letter was written to the zoo in charge to inquire if he would like to keep a bear at the zoo. He affirmed, and then Baba was sent to Mysore Zoo, packed in a cage, kept on a lorry. He traveled a distance of 87 miles to reach the zoo. The next paragraph, we all missed him greatly, but in a sense we were relieved. My wife was inconsolable. She wept and fretted. For the first few days she would not eat anything. Then she wrote a number of letters to the curator. How was Baba? Back came the replies, well, but fretting. He refuses food too. Okay, now the explanation. Although everyone missed Baba, but they were relaxed too. The narrator's wife was disturbed. She wept and worried about Baba's well-being. Initially, she did not eat or drink. She wrote a letter to the zoo in charge to inquire about Baba. He replied that Baba was also undergoing a similar situation like her. Okay, see how close they were. Okay, and since the animal was growing bigger in size, so it was difficult for them to keep that bear in that particular area. Obviously, and that bear was dangerous also to some people. So eventually they had to hand it over to the in charge, the curator of a zoo. Okay, and that person took it, packed it, and sent it to the zoo where it belonged. Okay, but what happened after that? The wife of the narrator wept, cried so much that she did not eat in the beginning. Okay, and she used to write letters to the curator, that is the in charge of the zoo, asking about the well-being of the bear to the curator, and reply would be coming from that side. And what that would be? That Baba is fine here, but the problem is with this poor animal that it's not eating. So the same condition was going on with the wife of the narrator. Okay, kids, I'm going to take a permission from you right now. I shall meet you in my next class with the next episode of the same lesson. All right. Hashtag stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.